going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh?
And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Download Veely now.
Next on Startup, we head to Idaho Falls, Idaho to meet up with Remy Sedylmayr and family, the creators of Divinia, a bottled water company that's on a mission to create and distribute the cleanest bottled water on the planet. All of this and more is next on Startup. My name is Gary Brado. I'm a documentary filmmaker and an entrepreneur. As the economy continues to grow, more people, just like you, have decided to chase their dream of starting a business. And even while more entrepreneurs are seeing success, it never seems to come easy. So I'm going coast to coast to hear the real stories of the people who turn their dream into a reality. This is Startup. Paying for a bottle of water was once unheard of, but today bottled water holds the second largest share of the beverage market in the US, ahead of both milk and beer. The one thing Americans consume more than bottled water is soda. The bottled water industry is expected to reach $334 billion by 2023. The demand for bottled water has been growing during the last decade, largely owed to convenience and growing health and wellness concerns. Today, I'm heading to Idaho Falls, Idaho to meet up with Remy Sedylmayr and family, the owners of Divinia, a company that's on a mission to provide consumers with the cleanest bottled water on the planet. From what I know, the family has made a lot of sacrifices to get to this point, and I can't wait to learn more about their journey. I want to talk about Divinia in its early days in the start. What was the thing that sort of sparked your desire to create something?
My wife would drink water out of plastic bottles and pay some expensive, we'd go to a restaurant, she'd pay $6 for water. And I said, God, stop that, it's driving me crazy. It's not that we couldn't afford it, I just didn't really want to spend $7 for something that was tap water in a plastic bottle. So we bought a distiller, and I brought the distiller home, and it was a commercial distiller that they used for hospitals. And over the course of 3 years, it probably failed 30 times. So I bought a little chemical test and a spectrometer and started testing and go, wow, this water really is not very good.
Yeah.
So I looked around and said, I'm an inventor. Why am I using someone else's thing that I know fails? I know that the product is not good, and let's try to get the healthiest water we could.
Steve had come up with a new process of distilling water, and so I thought it was just kind of a way for him to kill time because he was bored kind of thing. It really turned out that there was something different about this water, and so then it turned into more than just a hobby. It turned into a project of love, essentially.
In your research into water today, bottled water, tap water, even water that we're showering in, what did you learn about that water?
There's so much that I've learned about that water. For instance, we have to put a lot of chlorine or fluoride in the water just to kill the organic material. But the problem is that they process the water at a central plant. The federal standards right now are 500 parts per million. That doesn't mean that's the same standard at your tap. So between where they process it and where it's delivered in your home,
gathering a lot more stuff.
A lot of stuff can happen. There are 90,000 contaminants in our water today. The EPA only looks at 90 of them.
Did he pitch you the idea and say, hey, why don't you come and let's start a company and we'll work together, or how did it unfold?
It was so natural and it was so organic how it started. And I think the family saw the benefits of the water, and we each had our own sort of experience with it personally. Yeah. And so it wasn't even a question, it was just we wanted to be on board and provide the market with a much better bottled water, a much better water overall.
Since the family is originally from Phoenix, I'm interested to learn how the Sedylmayrs ended up in Idaho Falls and how this whole thing came together. So I'm getting a guided tour of beautiful downtown Idaho Falls and a conversation with Remy Sedylmayr. In 2008 and 9, you guys went through a struggle.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh gosh, that was, during the course of all this, we put our house into mortgage so that we could fund all of the research, the patent work, the lawyers. And so we hawked the house and then lost it in 2009.
So stuck with another full mortgage payment, spent it all on a startup,
Yeah.
and then lost the house.
Yeah. That's,
Oh my gosh, but
exactly.
nothing exemplifies more of a belief in your dream. You talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Well, and I knew,
Were you scared at all?
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah, a lot. Oh gosh, Gary, a lot. We were frantic, we were and when we packed up a U-Haul, we put everything in storage, packed up a U-Haul with all Steve's purifiers, his computer equipment, washer and dryer, vacuum, and some clothes. And we came to Idaho to visit family, thinking we had, a potential investor in mind and something that was coming down the line, and that didn't materialize. So we wound up moving in with our niece, and there was, 8 adults and 2 kids and 8 dogs living in a double-wide trailer. And
Going from a paid-off house in Phoenix to...
Yeah, to homeless is what it was. We were homeless.
We had to make a decision, were we going to do this water or do we want to hold on to our other things? And so we had a family meeting and said, what's more important? Everybody voted, let's try to do something with the water.
Yep.
So we packed everything up, got out of Phoenix, and I had done a deal with someone that turned out to be a fraud, but they set up a nonprofit organization for children, and we were donating some of this water to the children's hospitals, we thought.
Steve gets a letter from the Attorney General saying, did you assign the patents over to this person? And Steve's like, no, he's licensing it. The Attorney General's like, well, this guy's taking the patents and raising money in your name. And so it turns out he raised a few $1 million.
Whoa.
And he was raising that money to fund his gambling and racing horse addiction.
Oh my gosh, that has to sting like,
Yeah,
it's a hard pill to swallow.
It hurt. The frustrating part is if he took that money and put it into the company, I mean, we could have been massive by now, but things work out for a reason.
What was it like to move in to a double-wide trailer with 10 adults and 2 pets and kids and everything at that age after everything you had been through? How did that feel?
Pretty degrading.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Tough thing to swallow.
Yeah.
And as a man, as a provider, it's even harder. I have kids, I understand.
Yeah, it was terrible.
How long
Yeah.
did you guys have to suffer through that?
About 2 to 3 years. And eventually, my wife got a job. She was out at the airport, and my son got a call center job. It still wasn't enough to move out, but it was enough to start buying our own food.
What could you say to people that go through an experience where they have to make a major dramatic change in their life like that just to survive?
Swallow your pride, and you'll get through it.
Yeah, just every day, just
Yeah.
approach every day.
Just every day get up and fight. I mean, at that point, you provided for your family, for all of the life. You send them to college, and then all of a sudden, it's gone in one day.
And looking around now, the facility, the structure, the warehouse, and the nobility of what it is that you guys are doing with water. I mean, that has to be a good feeling.
Yes,
A lot better than those days.
a lot better.
Essentially, what is the process? Again, in the most simple, pretend I'm a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Not your 3-year-old niece, because she's really, really smart.
Smarter than me, yeah.
Pretend I'm not a super smart 3-year-old.
Okay.
What happens to the water when it comes in here?
So essentially, it's a different form of distillation. And so it's using a technology that no water comes in direct contact with the heating element. And so the best way to describe how the water does what it does is if you take a rubber band and stretch it, there's a lot of stored up energy in that. And so it's kind of the same with the water. The OH stretch bond, how the molecules or the atoms are combined with each other, it's kind of stretched out. And when you snap them, you have a lot of energy. So that's kind of the best way to describe it. Sometimes I think it's like alien technology. I mean, sometimes it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is.
Crosby explained to me that the end goal is to place their proprietary distillation shipping containers in every municipality for consumers to come fill up their own glass container and have access to Divinia water at any time. How did you begin to dig yourselves out?
Just finding any job we could. People were coming to us saying, hey, we heard you have this water. And so then we decided, hey, what if we just start selling it? Because we kept pursuing a licensing deal, and that just kept falling through. Steve was essentially taking care of all of us, driving us to work. We had a car that we were making payments off of. It was only like a $2,000 car, but it took us a year to pay that off. He would take us to work and he would come back home, fill up bottles and get them ready to get shipped out.
So the whole time that you guys were in the trailer and then even beyond, the water dream never ended.
Exactly.
It kept going forward.
Yep.
How bad of shape are we in right now as a whole on this planet in regards to water?
Terrible. The other problem that we have now are nanoplastics, or these plastic beads, and they're everywhere. When you wash your clothes, plastic comes off of it.
Right.
When you use facial scrubs, there's micro beads in that.
So it's in the rain, it's in the air, it's in the water.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
They have found now, they went down to the Mariana Trench. Every single fish had plastic in it from the Mariana Trench.
Wow.
The deepest place on the face of the earth
Has plastic.
has plastic in it.
So it's us, we've destroyed it. Is there any way to turn back at this point? Can we remove those nanoplastics that are everywhere?
We can, but again, it's going to take concentrated effort at governments.
Being the marketing person, you must have an elevator pitch for Divinia. Explain exactly what the company is.
Divinia is a very unique bottled water brand in that it's the only purified bottled water that is bottled in glass, and it is exclusion zone water, so it's water that's actually electrically charged that matches the same charge in your cells. So it's easier for better hydration or better uptake of hydration. So essentially you're getting premium hydration with nothing in it.
Talk about the company's growth from day one to the present.
So my father originally was just shipping mason jars full of our water across the country, whoever was going on a website and purchasing. Luckily, as we grew and we gained some support financially through some network of investors, we were able to purchase bottles, better packaging. To this point now, we actually have an automated bottling line that does all the rinsing, the filling, the capping for us. We ship around the world, including Australia, Asia, Europe, pretty much any continent we've touched with our water. So it's neat to see how far-reaching it can be.
Tell me your name and a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
My name is Kelly Lenny Stanfield. I am originally from Hawaii. I've lived here for 20 years. I am a stay-at-home mom, but I recently became a distributor for Divinia Water.
Where do you distribute to?
So I distribute to Hawaii and currently now in Utah, but our goal was mainly first to distribute to my family and friends, to make a difference in their lives.
Why did you want to become a distributor?
One, it's helped correct my digestive issues that I've had since I was 18 years old. I no longer have to take medication. Within 15 minutes of drinking the water, my stomach calms and it all goes away. Because it was so successful, I approached Divinia and said, I'm interested in investing as well as distributing this to first the many family and friends that we have.
For people in Hawaii that you're distributing to, have you gotten positive feedback from them?
Yeah. Absolutely. Whether it's there or here or in Utah or wherever we go, the feedback is just phenomenal.
Our dream is not to just keep one facility, but to have satellite facilities around the world.
Well,
So-
that's how you're going to have the most impact for the cause.
Right, because what we want to do is be able to sell water in bulk to, to the local customers that can come. We have customers that come and buy 3 gallons. We put them in 3-gallon glass carboys. And so they can come and buy bulk and have water for the week.
So you don't have to ship super
Exactly.
far. And the shipping container concept, explain that to me. So if I were a city that's having a water issue and I want what you offer, how does that look? I know that this is part of the future vision, right?
Right.
Could a city order it as a package?
Yeah.
Okay, and explain that.
So what we want to do is have shipping containers just retrofitted with all the purifying equipment, everything that's required for processing the water. And that there would be probably 3 shipping containers or more, but then all retrofitted with all of our purifiers in them. So literally a municipality would only have to plug it in and put whatever water supply they have at hand.
Is clean water a human right?
Yes, and that's what we're trying. I mean, in the perfect world, if I had $1 billion and I could set up one of these processing facilities everywhere in the world, I would do it.
Remy and I walked along the Snake River that runs right through downtown Idaho Falls. Actually, the town was originally called Eagle Rock, which was a major nesting place for eagles. I also learned that the Snake River is the 9th longest river in the U.S. From what Remy said, this town has been incredibly supportive of Divinia, and it seems like the perfect place to have ended up starting this company. How competitive is the bottled water space today?
Extremely competitive. It's a very saturated market.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to water down our conversation, right?
Yeah.
But don't be bottled up.
Yeah,
Like,
it could
please.
spill over, but
Wow, that's a moment right there. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it is. Overall, it's hugely saturated, and we're not only competing with bottled water companies, but people that just choose to drink from the tap or from the well as well. So we have to undertake massive efforts for consumer education so that people have the information to arm themselves to make decisions for their homes, for their families, for their health.
You really have your work cut out for you because, like you said, there's not only so much competition, but people don't believe everything they read in marketing these days. They'll say, oh, this is the most healthy water. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
It just flies over your head. How are you cutting through with your message?
It's so important for us to really emphasize the scientific research that we've undergone with this water, specifically independent lab testing, because that's what really sets us apart, is the fact that we've had so many independent lab tests done on the water to really help prove the benefits and the quality of the water that no other water can rival. But yes, some people are going, well, this other brand is making that same claim. And so I noticed that in these specific dialogues with customers, I really need to tailor my message to what their concern is so that they get the information to make a decision for themselves that makes sense for their lifestyle.
There's always going to be skeptics and people that say, water is water.
Even if you don't believe the effects of the water itself, the fact that there's nothing in the water, is a huge thing.
The thing that you do 2 days a week, the labeling.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this and show me how this machine works. And I noticed that you're not printing any excess label.
Nope.
You're just sort of stamping it on the bottle.
Yeah, so it's a stamp. That's what we do to the bottle. And that's because we don't want plastics on the bottle. This is ink.
Now, at some point, will this turn into full automation?
Oh yeah, we'll go fully automated with this technology eventually, but for right now, it's me 1 bottle at a time, couple thousand bottles a day.
Is it fulfilling to you to know that you're doing something not only, that can sustain your family, but just the nobility of the cause, getting clean water out to people?
Before I run this machine every day, when I do, I just say a little prayer to God, may this water find who it needs to. And that's the mission I'm on, is to help the company grow so that we can get the water to more people.
Looking back, what are some of the, it has to build character in a way, right? I guess when you're in the situation, it feels horrible, miserable. How do you feel looking back on it?
Who I was 5 years ago is not who I am now. I like to think I'm a decent person now, a better person. But you know, you got to look at those and find your impetus, your reason, and you know that really is the main drive. And you know, at the end of the day, you realize it's your family, it's your friends, it's those people that help get you through the hard stuff.
How much closer now are you as a family?
I'd say a lot closer. A lot closer. Sometimes we know how to push each other's buttons way too easily now. We're always working with each other, always seeing each other, so sometimes I just gotta disappear and you know, go drive and get away for a little bit, but you know, I know they have my back.
How is it working with family? What are some of the downfalls and ways to make it work?
We've had to sit down and have some coming to Jesus meeting,
Sure.
You know. We had to figure out what our roles are and staying in our lanes. And when we walk through that door, it's, okay, my mom is not my mom, she's my coworker, she's my colleague. Same with my father, because if you don't treat each other with that sort of formal respect that you would with any other coworker, then you start to step on each other's toes, and that can be problematic, and then that just trickles down. So we've made really sure that we stick to our lanes. And you know, if there's issues or if there's qualms, you need to talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Find time to sit down and talk about it privately and not in front of your employees. And just don't bring that stuff to work.
What is your biggest fear with the company moving forward?
I want people to understand really what we're trying to do, and I guess I get afraid that we may get painted as one of those big, scary bottled water companies, and I'm trying so hard to maintain that personal connection with our consumer base even as we grow. I want them to see that we're different, and I do wonder if our message is strong enough and stout enough to get that point across, because I really want people to understand that what we're doing is the antithesis of typical bottled water.
After all of that you guys have been through, where's the company sitting today?
We're on course for a record month this month. Looking at it, if we follow the trend, it should be about $96,000 for the month.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
compared to a year trying to pay off a $2,000 car. I mean, how does it feel looking at it right now?
We're not a $100 million company, but you know, we're doing well. And you know, the biggest part is my family's taken care of. And you know, we're giving something to the community that I think enriches people's lives. And in that sense, I think we're doing damn good.
Was there anything else that you'd like to say just about water in general?
One thing I do want to say, I want to address the people that are working for large companies or independent companies or whatever, and you dump something in the water going, you know, that doesn't make a difference. It makes a huge difference. You don't understand, you're poisoning yourself. And what's even worse, for everybody out there in America, you're killing your children. This is about legacy. It's not about you. It might take you 30 or 40 years to die, but we're on a very fast curve right now, and you're affecting more and more. Give pause and think about your children.
Although we are not necessarily defined by our hardship, often those times seem to carry the most meaning. It's only when the rug is unexpectedly pulled out from underneath us that we learn the source of our balance. Stephen, Remy, Crosby, and Kirsten are building something meaningful, and they're about as invested as one could get. As many times as I've heard people speak about passion over profit, the story really epitomizes that statement. This is a story of belief and resilience and some obvious David and Goliath undertones. Water is life. As people become more curious about what's actually in the water they drink, they may start looking into other options. And that's what Divinia is. It's another option. Just like buying GMO or organic, watching TV or taking a walk, playing on electronics or reading a book. Either way, I have a feeling that Divinia and the Sedylmayr family have a very bright future ahead of them. Next time on Startup, we head to Fort Collins, Colorado to meet up with Stuart King and family, the owners of Rocky Mountain Archery, a full-service archery facility. Be sure to join us next time on Startup. I'm seeing
It's nice to have a house band.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
It looks so much better as a cross stitch.
Yeah, from afar, it's probably fine.
Watch that elbow. Oh, that hit the arm bad. Real bad. And next one. 1 second.
You guys waiting for us?
That's okay. No, not at all. We're good. Come on in.
Welcome to 25th Street.
Yeah. All right, ready?